So when it comes to, let's say, NES systems, Famicom or normal, let's say, versions, or in my case, like the PAL version I'm used to with the big cartridges, so this version is something completely different. So from China, they have made this Famicom Compact, the full HD edition with even wireless controllers. I don't know if they're always going to give you a cartridge depending on the seller. On the box there's not a lot of information beside it has like a wireless gamepad, stuff that I already told you. But inside the box we're going to get ourselves indeed a very nice looking Famicom. Alright, so we do have like this very cheap feeling 5-volt power supply, but it will do the trick. Even an adapter, an AV out cable, HDMI, and this is the old school family computer. I also have like the Famicom Mini, I really love it. Of course we do have like the toilet paper manual, like always. This is the Deluxe Glossy edition, and yeah, doesn't explain a lot, basically how you need to connect it and what all the buttons are for. So this is more like your old school, let's say Famicom. The only difference is that we do have the option, for an HDMI functionality, like the mini version I'm having. So at the back here you can see everything. What are we going to get? So it comes with 2.4 GHz controllers. We do have like all of the options when it comes to the AV out, HDMI out, input for the 5-volt micro USB for connection. At the front we're going to get 2 ports for the controllers and of course the LED for turning on. We do have like the launcher for the games to eject, and then we do have like the on off switch and the reset. So we also have the option for, and that's pretty damn cool, to put the controllers aside over here. I think that's such a cool feature. Alright, so but let's take a close look at the controller, because the controller, I'm just going to be honest, it's not going to be like the supreme quality like the Nintendo stuff that we have seen back in the days. It's okay, like it feels nice, does smell a little bit chemical, the D-pad is a little bit too sturdy and feels too, let's say, clicky, but I think it's just very awesome that we're just going to get ourselves wireless controllers, even an on-off switch and an internal, let's say, an internal battery. So like with a PlayStation 4 or 5 controller, you can just load it up and just play. I think it's pretty damn cool feature. So let's say for the money, the question remains, can we complain about it, how bad or how good it is? Because these things are not cheap, that is absolutely a fact. But let's hook it up and let's see what we're going to get. Okay, so let's do a quick teardown of the controller, because I am really curious what are we going to get in the inside. It's going to be maybe the same crap like always, but the controller feels quite nice, like a quality one, so I'm very pleased about that. Okay, so let's lift up the top cover. Over here we're going to get the indication of the year. So this thing is made in 2020, so this is quite a new product. The switch is very sturdy, like it's just freaking awful. Look at this really tiny lithium battery. So let's lift out the PCB. And here you can see like that's a regular PCB that I've seen before. They're using the cheap membranes over here, like the transparent editions. But there is no indication what kind of battery we're going to get. I am not going to remove it because it's put over there with double-sided tape. And if you want to replace it, you need to do some soldering. Alright, well later on we'll check out if they're working properly. Okay, so I tested out like how the ejection function works. And I must say, like, putting the cartridges in and out, it's fairly easy. But of course, if you want to use this function, it's going to be a little bit tricky with fake ones. And the reason I'm saying fake ones, when we're going to get an original game, they fit in perfectly, like there is no problem whatsoever. And also if you want to put it out. So I just want to show you this, that like it's a big difference if you're going to get yourself like a multi-game card or an original one. Oh man, it fits in perfectly. Like this makes me really exciting. That the cartridges fits in very nice. So let's take a close look at the quality for the AV out and the HDMI signal. Okay, so there was one big issue with this device with the AV out. The connection of the pins, and not with the cable. The cable is perfectly, but the pins on the mainboard are like awful. Alright, the controller works plug and play. I cannot see if we can reconfigure it for player 1 or player 2. The single output is okay. I can see a lot of, let's say, interference in the display itself. So it's a little bit of a bummer. So I'm curious how this will look in the end when it comes to the HDMI functionality. Okay, so let's try the first game. A little bit of a bummer that they messed it up with the aspect ratio. So I'm just going to play it like this. So if you're having television, you can just literally put it on 4:3 aspect ratio. It's still not the best solution, but it's better than nothing. It's such a weird thing, because when you're looking at different devices, only with AV out, some of them even have the option to have the 4:3 aspect ratio switch in the back. So man, it's with these Chinese Famicom clones always the question, what are they messing up today? The button itself of this device is slightly different than the original controller. And also the D-pad needs to be pressed very hard. Another interesting option is if you're powering it on without a cartridge, it will boot up into this, another multi-game card. A great feature when you're pressing select and start at the same time, it will reset the system, so you can just chill in your chair and play some games. So that is quite naughty. So we're going to get an 188 built in. Okay, that's a new one. Alright guys, so let's open it up. I want to see what's inside this me machine. And I must say that some parts of this device I don't like. So first of all, there is no aspect ratio switch. I don't get it why some of these does have it and some don't. This thing has HDMI, but there's always something they need to miss out. So let's see if we can open it up. Yep, that's it. Alright, so that is the back plate or the bottom part. Alright, so the only thing that we're going to get are basically 3 PCBs. Here you can see the mechanism for sliding it up. It's all made very cheaply. Okay, so let's remove the first PCB over here. I'm curious if every single part comes from 2020 or are there any other parts that are made earlier than 2020. Here can we already see, I just wanted to show you over here with the PCB that here you can see like the antenna. It's all made so cheaply. It's cheap to the cheap. And that is the way to go. But I'm curious why this slide on and off switch is so horrible. So like here comes something that is quite interesting. There is something wrong with this mold, because when I try to on and off, just turn it off this freaking product, it's like almost impossible. And now when I did it turn down, it's going to be like freaking fantastic. So it's just the fact that they're messing it up. Okay, so this thing is made in 2020. So this device, all of it is made in 2020 so far we can see. So let's put this thing back in. Like, what did they mess up so bad? Like, the way how they made it, like this freaking LED is like bingling around. Oh boy. The way how they made this is freaking awful. But there was one thing that is quite interesting. So let's check the middle, let's say the cartridge slot. I wanted to zoom in and show you this. Like this thing comes with 2018, so not every single part is in 2020 made. So some parts are 2020, some parts are 2018. And over here we're going to get the third PCB, and this PCB has also a date of 2018. So this is already an old piece. They grabbed from the shelf. They have the option for HDMI, AV out, and of course the input for the 5-volt micro USB. But when you're grabbing a new generation, or let's say in China knockoff, it doesn't matter what kind of thing you're going to buy. They are like looking most of the time like this. The technology has been improving significantly in the last couple of decades. So this is what you're going to get. They don't need a lot of parts, gigantic circuit boards inside. It's like the new generation of stuff. But what I didn't like was the audio signal output of the AV out. Okay, so another thing I don't like at all. So when you want to put the front port back, or the PCB that contains the front port and the LED, you need to put a lot of pressure on it to get it in the right position. That also makes the problem with the on and off switch. So oh boy, assembly, this thing will be a freaking nightmare. But the way how they did the quality control, that in my opinion. Okay guys, so here in quick capture of the HDMI functionality, and I must say that when you're listening closely to the audio, you can hear there is a lot of interference in the signal. But okay, so what can we expect from this when it comes to like AliExpress stuff? Yeah, I have shown you in this video, it's not perfect. There is always something they mess up, but it comes very closely. I think it's pretty damn cool. If you just want to grab a Famicom player, you want to have the HDMI, but you don't want to spend like a lot of money on it, this can be a great option. Let me know what you think of these Famicom clones, especially with the HDMI. But thank you for watching, consider subscribing, hit that little bell, become the Wicked family, and it will be great to see you in the next video.